Joey, welcome to Fleetwood Town, our new head coach. How does it feel?
Yeah, can't wait to get cracking. Delighted to get the opportunity. Obviously been charting the club's progress over a period since I came and trained with us when I was at QPR and before I went out to play out in France with Marseille. So been watching the club from a distance and finally got the chance to work here on a permanent basis and really looking forward to the challenge.
Why Fleetwood Town?
Well, I had to start somewhere. As a young coach, you want to go to a club that has similar principles to how you see yourself as a person. Obviously, Fleetwood gaining multiple promotions. I think they've been disruptors, I would call them, in terms of the model. They've had a meteoric rise within the football pyramid. And somebody myself who likes to challenge the status quo and shake things up a little bit. As I say, I'd known the club for a while. I've known what's going on at the football club and had friends who've played for the club. So just felt it was the perfect spot for me to come and learn my trade as a football manager. Your
first step into management, obviously. Perfect time for you, I imagine?
Yeah, well, ideally I would have played for a bit longer, but I had an FA ban to negate, and coming out the back end of that, I had my mind set on going back and playing. I'm probably going to go back to Burnley pre-season, and obviously they had a fantastic season this season, but to see where I was at, physically, mentally, I knew I wanted to be part of football and stay within football. And the opportunity came up. I was asked to interview for the Fleetwood job, and when that came up, I knew this was a once in a lifetime opportunity and one that I couldn't afford to spend or let pass, really, because I knew it was a fantastic club on an upward trajectory, and it was something I'd always wanted to do in terms of management and coaching, and thought this is the perfect opportunity for me to meet the club at this crossroads, and hopefully it be a very, very positive next 3 years.
Our supporters will obviously know you from your playing career, what type of player you are. What type of coach or manager can they expect from Joey Barton?
Well, it's difficult as yet because I haven't set up a team to play, so obviously the data points for what Joey Barton, the manager, will be like are probably somewhat in the future. But the team I would like to be involved in are a team that would represent my core values, which are honesty, humility and hard work. And I think if the lads can turn up on a Saturday or on a Tuesday night, as it tends to be in these 46 game league seasons, the Championship and below, then we'll be off to a successful start. The reality of it is the club, as I say, has had multiple promotions. I think it's 7 in 10 years or something like that. And it's to get back on that trend. I'm not saying we'll hit the ground running and win be in the Championship next season, but it's about a daily level of progression. Maintaining the standards that are already set at the club by my predecessors, and building on that and taking the club to the next level, which is the Championship.
You've obviously played at the top level, but you've got experience of that 46 game season in the Championship, so you just know how tough it's going to be Saturday, Tuesday. It's quite relentless fixture programme.
Yeah, and I've been there with Newcastle, and we had a very strong squad and won the league quite comfortably. Did it slightly different way at Burnley, but again managed to win the title. And then at QPR we had a really difficult spell. We had a lot of talent in the building and managed to get up via the incredible journey that is the playoffs, which obviously Fleetwood Town know about. The progression from League 2 to League 1 was a playoff journey, and those involved in it will attest to how great of a way it is to get promoted. But the nerves do get slightly frayed when you go up via the playoffs. But again, League 1's a very, very competitive league, incredibly tough environment. You've got some massive clubs in League 1 next season. Like your Sunderland, who'll still be on a kind of parachute payment structure. So looking forward to, as a former Newcastle player, certainly testing my tactical wits against the might of Sunderland.
We've seen in the last couple of weeks, a couple of appointments to the backroom staff, Steve Eyre, Clint Hill, two people you'll know very well, and I imagine you're delighted that they're on board as well.
Yeah, it's always great to add great people to your staff to recruit, and obviously that adds on to the guys who were already there. Met some of them this afternoon, had a good chat with them about the pros and cons of the previous regimes and the previous season. So, it all bodes well. I always think at a football club, if you can keep recruiting superbly in terms of on and off the field, it gives you an incredible chance of getting a positive uplift and positive performances. And Ayrsley and Clint Hill, two very, very solid fellas. Both come at it slightly differently. Clint's just finished playing, obviously, for Carlisle, and probably would have gone on for another 10 years had I not given them this opportunity to cut his teeth coaching. But somebody I've been in the trenches with. Obviously, he was captain at QPR, and I was vice captain in that playoff final. And we shared the journey, because Clint wasn't always in the team there, so we became really close. Obviously, that playoffs was a huge positive. And the following season, we were relegated. So, sharing the roller coaster that is football, been in the trenches together, and someone I know I can rely on when, no doubt, the pressure starts to come, because that is football management. And Steve, on the other side of that, somebody who knows the lower leagues, the kind of League One, League Two, like an encyclopedia almost. He's worked in every facet of every football club, probably in the Northwest, from manager to assistant manager to first team coach. At City, I met him. He was the academy. He was football in the community initially, actually, when I met him. I was only 14 or 15, so it shows you how old he is. And, we've just kept in touch ever since. And obviously, I've charted his football and coaching journey, and he's charted my football and journey. And, somebody I've got an enormous amount of respect for, both the guys. And, as I say, they'll complement, the coaching structure and the infrastructure that is already in place at Fleetwood Town. As I say, 7 promotions in 10 years, you don't do that by chance.
Someone you obviously know at the club, Andy Pilley, just talk to us about your relationship with the chairman. Yeah,
it was a strange one, because everyone thinks that we must, spend an awful amount of time together outside the football club. I think they think I only got the job because I'm good mates with Andy, which is, I get on well with him, but I've probably met him 8 to 10 times over the last eight years. So it's been maybe blown slightly out of proportion by the media, but that is their job. And as I say, I've been lucky enough to attend some of the games and sat in the chairman's box and watch those games. And he had an awful lot of friends in the box. And as far as I know, not one of them have been appointed manager. So I think people in time will obviously, draw their own conclusions about why I was appointed. I believe it was because I was the best candidate available. I believe I interviewed superbly well. I believe I've got an enormous amount of natural enthusiasm. And, I know I've got a lot of learning to do. And since I've, decided to take the job, every day's been a school day. And I look forward to that going forward. I go from being a veteran player to a novice manager overnight. So it's great, it's really exciting time. And I'm really excited for the players and the football club. And, as I say, delighted to get the opportunity and going to leave no stone unturned in order to make it the absolute best it can possibly be.
We're about 3 weeks away now from the start of pre-season. I imagine you're looking forward to meeting the players for the first time?
The main thing is, getting to know them on the training ground is going to be the key once pre-season starts, getting to see their strengths and what they can do and how we can develop them as players. Because ultimately it's about the players. That, no matter what we think in terms of the coaching structure, we're there to support the players so that they can turn out performances for the fans, and obviously then we'll start to get positive results.
A message to the supporters, Joey, if you can. Your obviously announcement came with a lot of publicity and a lot of support from our fans who are really, really excited for the start of the season, as I'm sure you are. Yeah,
I mean, obviously the fans, they turn up and pay the money, and it's always easier to play football if the fans believe in what you're doing and they believe in where the club's heading. And I think that is the way at this football club, as we've talked about the multiple promotions. So they understand that this is a football club that is intent on achieving what probably people outside of the area don't believe they can achieve. So from our perspective, we've just got to continue that growth, got to continue the club on the trajectory it's already been on. It's not rocket science, it's football, and we want to create a feel-good factor. Fleetwood is a football club that is, as you see at the training complex at Poolfoot, it's absolutely at the heart of the community. You see people coming in for a coffee, you see many different people from all walks of life interacting in and around the training ground. And I think in modern football, I think that's very refreshing. It has its pros and its cons, of course, certainly when it comes to Fridays and team selection and who's picking up who from set plays. But again, that's just something that we've got to accept as part of the fabric of this football club. We've got to harness that as much as we can, because you always need the football club to be at one with the people that pay the money to come through the turnstiles. And again, I'm just really excited. I can't wait to see how they judge the style of football that we intend to play at this football club.
Well, Joe, thanks for your time. wish you all the best. Look forward to the start of the season.
Cheers, thank you.